Here we go. All right, I'd like to call our Crystal City Council meeting to order at this time. Happy New Year, first meeting of the year, first meeting of the decade. Everybody's happy to be here. Everybody's chatting and talking. Sorry to cut in, but here, we have to do this. So let's start with roll call.
Mayor Adams.
Here.
Councilmember Banks.
Here.
Councilmember Budashevsky.
Here.
Councilmember Deschler.
Here.
Councilmember Kaiser.
Here.
Councilmember LaRoche.
Here.
Councilmember Parsons.
Here.
We have a quorum.
All right, thank you. Let's stand up for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, we have an agenda in front of us. Looking for a motion on that agenda. Julie?
I'll make a motion to approve the agenda as read.
As presented?
As presented, yes.
Awesome. Olga?
I'll second that.
Thank you. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, we have an appearance today. Kim Terrace is going to talk about crystal sparkles, and we'll go from there. Welcome.
Thank you. So Crystal Sparkles program or contest is something that is presented or organized by the city as well as the West Metro Fire Auxiliary and the Light of Crystal this year. So the annual contest was conducted in November and December, and residents can submit applications for residential houses that have good holiday sparkle campaign or lighting displays. So 2 winners were selected. Our second place winner this year is Karen Lincoln, and that address is 4706 Xenia Avenue North, and she is not here tonight, but we do congratulate her. But our first place winners are here tonight to receive their award, and their name is George and Ola McClure at 6324 Fairview Avenue North. I'm not sure if their display is still up. No? Okay. So maybe they'll do it. Okay. So hopefully you were able to drive by and see that during the holiday season. So I'd like to present them with their certificate as well as their award.
All right. Thank you, Orla and George.
Well, you know, I take no credit for that because George has been faithful about putting up his lights and outside decorations for years. So all the credit goes to him. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, George. All right.
Thank you for putting them up, yep. I always love it when people put holiday Christmas lights up because I always think it's kind of like a Hallmark moment.
Right. You know, I used to do it on my house, but it's a 2-story, and I'm just not quite as enthusiastic as I was when
About getting up on a ladder.
when the kids were younger.
Yeah.
It's changed over the years.
I know Karen is very passionate about it. She
Right.
does it every year, and they're beautiful. She does a beautiful job too. So
Yeah, she does every year. All right. Next, do we have a presentation? Not necessarily.
It's up to you.
All right. The Community Outreach Task Force is sunsetting, and the Community Task Force was it was kind of born. Oh, thanks. It was kind of born out of kind of a new administration and a kind of a new council, and it was a lot of citizen involvement came out of it initially. What was born out of it was the Crystal Historical Society. That has taken shape and is now its own entity. It's its own 501(c), and it has its own structure now, and it's really kind of taking off. And Teresa, are you still involved with that?
I am still the president.
You are still the president.
Yes.
So, quite honestly, if you're out there and you have some history, is there anything you would want them to do if they think they have something to share with you, or?
At this point, we're only taking papers, so documents, photographs, etc. But they can contact me, or James Seinfeld Brown or Steve Adams, and we will take it off their hands. We are in the process of putting a display together that will be at the community center, and we've had some public events. It's baby steps at this point,
Right.
but, you know,
Right.
we've taken a lot of baby steps. We've moved it along.
Yeah. And it's interesting, you know, how far, depending on how far back, you know, we have Robbinsdale and New Hope's history as well. But,
Robbinsdale is a very established historical society, and so does Golden Valley. They have beautiful
and
facilities.
have you guys worked with them as far as finding some of our history within their historical society?
Not Golden Valley, but Robbinsdale for sure. There's a
Robbinsdale,
lot of
sure.
overlap with what's at their museum.
Yeah.
Both of those cities had buildings donated. So if we could have a nice family donate us a building, that would be lovely.
That would be a whole different level.
That would push us into a
We call that high level, right?
different realm of where we are now.
Yeah, okay, well, thank you for commenting on it. Bee Friendly event is something else that started probably the first year, and it's an annual part of our Crystal Fund plant sale and Public Works planting. Art in the Park has also come out of that. It's incorporated in other events as well. Neighbors Recognizing Neighbors, I think that came out initially with the Crystal Ball. It's now got a life of its own, and it's something that we recognize here at City Council every year. Biennial Commission Task Force Recruiting. That used to be whenever, and we changed it to once a year. And through their work, we've got a biennial. Twice a year is when we do our interviews. So that seems to be where we're landing, and you know, all their efforts. The current members of the Community Outreach Task Force. Steve Adams he's still the chair.
He is.
He is the chair. And then vice chair is Casey Peak. James Brown is on there. Sharon Green. Excuse me, help me. Omazi, Mutasa, and Chad Pepin. They're all members. And our liaison, of course, is Therese. So thank you for your efforts on that. I think we ended up sunsetting this because a lot of these things did get incorporated, and we feel like we have a very kind of approachable staff, approachable council, and things have become a lot more transparent. And Parks and Recs has been open a lot. I think with some new leadership, we've had some more outreach to communities, and I think this really did what it was supposed to do, and it kind of made people feel comfortable approaching their own government, whatever that looks like, whether it be a department or council members as well. So we thank everybody for their efforts in the process of doing that. James is here, I think, and we have is James the only one? Mm-hmm. Why don't I come out there? Thanks for your efforts. You're always willing to come out here and volunteer. It's not just this place. We see you all over the city. Appreciate your efforts and want to recognize your efforts as well. So thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Thank you, council, and everybody else. It's been fun. We've had some spirited meetings and so on and so forth, but the fun thing about this is, like was said, that we had so many things come out of it, and I think that's what the task force was supposed to have done anyhow. So it was a great time, and I appreciate all the time and effort that Ann and all the other staff members put in, along with the council, for supporting the Crystal Ball. Thank you.
Yep. All right. I think that's it for appearances, other than us being here. Next, we will move on to our consent agenda. At this time, I'll read that into the record. Approval of the minutes for the following meetings, both the City Council meeting and work session for December 17th, 2019. And the approval of the list of license applications submitted by our city clerk to the City Council. That list is on file in her office. And I understand it's the most organized office in the city. Approval of of a resolution accepting the following donations from Sheila and Chris Martin for Luis
Arabanos?
I said it fine many times in my own head, and now I choke. Arabanos. That's for Bassett Creek Park. And then approval of design, or designating some post for the preliminary legal newspaper and the Star Tribune as the backup for 2020. Approval of the following annual city appointments: Hennepin County Recycling Group, City Manager Ann Norris, Local Government Information Systems, or LOGIS. We have City Manager Ann Norris and Assistant City Manager Kim Terrace as an alternate. Northwest Suburban Cable Commission, Communications Commission, Councilmember Julie Deschler and Ann Norris. And then PUPS, which is Pets Under Police Security, Deputy Chief Brian Hubbard and Stephanie Revering. Chief Stephanie Revering. And then approval of a resolution. No, we didn't do that. We're pulling that item, right?
I think
Yep.
that's intent. To
We're-
pull 4.6.
We're going to pull 4.6. That is our consent agenda. Looking for a motion on that. Julie,
I'll move approval of the consent agenda as read.
thank you. Looking for a second.
I'll second.
Nancy,
I'll second.
thank you. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. Open forum. Do we have anybody here wishing to speak during open forum? Seeing nobody waving their hand, jumping up. All right, we will skip by open forum. Just a reminder, open forum is a chance for you to come here and speak to the council directly. The community will be able to see you on TV as well, and that helps have kind of a public discussion, which we want to promote. And next item is,
Go back and do 4.6.
did I miss 4.6?
No, that's the item you pulled.
Oh, yeah, first on the agenda. Mark Ray is here to talk about 4.6. Welcome, Mark.
Good evening, Mayor. Came in on poll frame presentation.
Okay.
Happy 2020.
Thanks.
Soon you will see the presentation in 2020.
You will. We have to, are we skipping 6.1?
No, they
No.
pulled
We pulled
4.6 off
4.6.
consent and moved it to regular
It
agenda.
comes to the front of the regular agenda. Kind of by rule, isn't
Yeah,
it?
the intersect,
Got it. I got it. Sorry.
All good. Alrighty, we've been continuing our work through the city this year, reviewing all the traffic control to make sure it complies with state standards. The changes in 2019, we've removed 29 stop signs, 14 of those were changed to yield signs. In the city, we currently have 421 stop signs and 75 yield signs. The green circles on the map show the areas where we made the changes this year. For those residents looking for more information on why we're doing this or kind of how it all works, we have two great resources. The first one is we do have a transportation page dedicated to all things traffic on our city website, including two-way stop signs, yield signs, all-way stops. Actually includes the presentation I gave a year ago at this time on this very topic. And then also we have information on our YouTube page with videos we've made for a variety of topics as well. So with that, the requested council action is a motion to approve the intersection traffic control map. And if you have questions, let me know.
Julie,
so on that or the website, is there a place for residents if they have concerns about traffic, stop signs being removed or placed? Is there a place for any comments or them to respond back to any concerns?
I would need to check. I'm not sure if there's you can report some issues. I'm not sure if there's a general concern. That said, my contact info is on there, and we could definitely
Just put a little blurb in there.
a
that if
little
you have
blurb to contact me
Okay.
with questions.
Because as for myself anyway, I get more calls about traffic speed on side roads. That's why I kind of wanted this as a
Yep.
discussion opposed to a consent agenda, because people get kind of worked up about this. Probably 90% of the people are happy and 10% maybe are crabby, but
I think we
At least
tend to
there's
hear from the people who are
resources.
definitely concerned. Absolutely.
yeah. So I just want them to have a place to go to read about it, understand why, and why these things are changed.
And And of other interest, in this past year, we've had no traffic crashes at any of the locations we've made changes.
Okay. And that's an important
That's
note.
awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
Maybe that means people are just kind of slowing down and looking now because they don't have that safety and security, or that perceived safety and
Right.
security of a stop sign.
I would hope so. I think the other interesting thing, and we're not going to go into this, but I mean, these changes are impacting over 5,000 cars a day. So if you
Right.
figure you're saving 5 seconds per car, that is a ton of hours we save our residents on any given day.
Okay.
You know, I think with this presentation, the nice thing about it is to know that we're doing it methodically. We're not just arbitrarily popping signs out and putting in yield signs, that sort of thing. That there's a method to the madness, and it's very organized. So I appreciated that part of it. All right, any other questions for Mark?
No, but do we need to make a motion to approve this?
We do. Julie, you want to hit?
Okay, I'll make a motion that we adopt the city intersection control map.
Thank you. Nancy?
I'll second.
Thank you. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, first item on the regular agenda is the disbursements of $25,000 or more. I will read those into the record at this time. AEM for Financial Solutions, that's for our professional financial services, $36,948. Met Council Water Service for January, $137,128. Hennepin County Treasurer for the 2019 and 2020 assessment fees, $98,000 even. Waste Management for recycling for November, $51,462. Nick's Tree Service for removal of trees, stumps, and buckthorn, $28,314. Northern Pole Restoration for recaulking and tiling of the pool, $39,650. City of Brooklyn Park for Hennepin Recycling Group annual administrative charges for $88,080. Golden Valley Joint Water Commission for November water costs, $119,335. Minnesota Para for the employee and city required contributions for pay date 12/13/2019, $62,496. Total disbursements of $25,000 or greater are $661,415.13. Any questions on any one of these items from the council? Julie?
I just have one quick one. Ann, in the past, we've talked a little bit about going to, or exploring the option of going to weekly recycling, because I see this recycling bill on here. Is that dead in the water, or just way too expensive?
It almost doubles what residents would pay, and so we've decided that because Waste Management will deliver free of charge additional containers, that it doesn't make sense. I
Okay.
know additional containers take up space, but there's an option for people who really recycle a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, we did that. We're glad we did that. Yeah, 2 weeks is a long time. Especially with those young, active, large families.
Yep.
A few of those around here. All right. Looking for a motion on these items.
So moved.
Julie? I'm sorry, John.
Julie.
Looking through Julie to get to John. We'll start with Jay. I have no more excuses. Looking for a second.
You want to go first, too?
Brendan.
I'll second it.
All right, thank you. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. All right, our city manager is here to address the council on banks.
This is the exciting annual selection of designating depository financial management investment firms. So you've got a list of who we are recommending that the council designate for our annual fiduciary designations. Wells Fargo Bank for our depository, Wells Fargo Securities, RBC Dane Rauscher, PMA Financial Network Securities, 4M, and Wells Fargo Advisory as our investment brokers, and Wells Fargo Brokerage Services for safekeeping of investment securities for 2020.
All right. Any questions on that? Go ahead, Nancy.
It's a weird one, but is 4M related to 3M?
No, 4M is,
I wanted the same thing.
You did too?
no, it's part of the League of Minnesota Cities and sort of.
Oh, okay.
that's-
Just
yeah,
wondered what it
no.
stood for. Okay, thank you.
I can't tell you. 4 M's, I don't know.
Money, money,
Right, and more money.
and more
More
money.
money. Yeah, that's 4. All right, any other questions? Go ahead, Olga.
I'll make the motion to approve this resolution.
All right, thank you. Looking for a second?
I'll second.
Go ahead. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay.
Abstain.
Motion carries. Just wave your hand, sorry. All right. Let's see, next is the council considering the following annual council appointments for 2020. The slate for Mayor Pro Tem is Julie Deschler. Council liaison for EQC is Councilmember Kaiser. Liaison Parks and Rec is Councilmember Budichevsky. Planning Commission, Councilmember Banks. And Beyond the Yellow Ribbon Committee is Julie Deschler. Those are my recommendations for the slate. Is there any conversation or discussion on any of these? All right. I will make that motion since they're my recommendations. Looking for a second?
I'll second.
Thanks, Nancy. I went to shoot.
I'm John.
John?
Woo!
New year?
All right. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries. So next, we will consider approving purchase of replacing an air compressor. Our Public Works Director and City Engineer Mark Ray is back to have numerous conversations with us. Welcome again, Mark.
Spoiler alert, the numerous conversations is entirely up to you. I have a summary right here, so if you want to do a blanket, get it done, we can do that, or we can definitely talk through every piece of equipment. Before you see the 6 pieces of equipment being considered tonight, the bottom line is we're under budget by about $108,000 or 17%. All the equipment you see before us is replacements of existing. It's a 1-for-1 replacement. The only slightly nuanced one is there's 2 of them. The dump truck is actually in the 2021 budget. However, we've learned that it's a very long lead time. The truck that you approved in November of 2018 still has not arrived. And so we're trying to anticipate that calendar cycle a little bit more. The second thing is the tack trailer on there. Right now, that's a separate trailer. A couple years ago, you approved a swap loader pickup truck style. It can have different attachments on the back. Our new one will fit onto that swap loader, so trying to be a little more efficient with the equipment we have. So with that, we can dive into it. I can field questions. Let me know.
Go ahead, John.
So you talked about the dump truck from 2018, so we pay for it upon delivery.
Correct.
Okay, so.
The only thing we paid, so there's 2 parts to the payment. One's the chassis and then one's the rest. So we've paid for the chassis because we have that. It's now getting built out at Towmaster.
Right.
Correct.
In the case of your example of the new dump truck or whatever, we're ordering it now, and hopefully it comes on time. If it doesn't, we don't pay for it until it shows up.
Regardless of when it comes, we don't pay for it till it shows up.
Great, that's what I want to hear.
Yep.
Thank you.
So we're down 2 vehicles that were ordered in late 2018 at this point.
Julie.
2018 and isn't here? I'd be looking
Correct.
for a different vendor.
So labor is actually the issue. There's 2 main companies that build out the trucks once you get them. And
Well, so it's not the truck, it's.
Yeah.
the
no,
truck.
yeah, we have the truck. It's at the builder,
It's the
Waiting to get
aftermarket
rolled out.
stuff.
Okay.
Yep.
Make it
Oh.
the way we want.
That's,
like plow blades.
Yep.
oh my, this is unbelievable to me.
Plug for the trades if anybody's interested. Great jobs out there if you want to work on electrics and building trucks.
Yeah, no kidding. So, the one that struck me on that list was the roller. Have we really used that roller that much?
So,
It looks like.
yeah, so the roller's pretty regularly used anytime. So the big one, this one, we've been using for, especially is in our parks, as we put down the millings for a hockey rink. This is what we put out there. We've also been beefing up some of the trails through the parks, especially around Hagemeister. We're trying to make that a little more user-friendly for people walking. So we put down the millings and we roll them so they're easier to go. This one actually was originally purchased in 2005, so it's about 15 years old at this time. So it's
I would have guessed we would have had fairly low use. I mean, obviously, we're a little higher use than what we used to be.
So anytime you're out rolling asphalt, usually have both rollers out. You have your small one first for your rough, and then you bring the big one in for the hard compaction, and then your finishing one.
Okay,
So-
yeah, I'm not familiar with roller etiquette.
Yeah.
But that's okay. All right. I know we've used more since we've been doing some in-house mill and overlays, so is that used in that? I'm assuming it is?
Yep.
Okay,
Yep, as well as small patching and,
yeah.
yeah.
All right, Julie?
I just have one more question. You know, and I've asked this before in the past, but, you know, is all of this equipment, I know it's necessary to complete the jobs and make life comfortable for the residents of Crystal, but is there any opportunity to just say like Robbinsdale buys it and we borrow it for a few days, or we buy something and then they can borrow it back from us? Do you do any of that? To
Yeah, great question.
do some
So
cost savings?
the biggest one for us with that actually is the
Street sweep.
patcher that we put in.
Paver.
No.
No?
Totally the crack filler. So where you saw the cracks in the street and you fill it. We actually do share that with Robbinsdale. Most of the stuff you see here, that wouldn't be an option. So for example, the air compressor we're buying is actually bigger than normal because with Becker Park,
Right.
the smaller one cannot handle it. Large area mower, obviously, when we're cutting grass, everybody's cutting grass.
Right.
For the park's pickup truck, that's out being used regularly. Roller, again, if we're paving generally and patching, that's not something that's you share as much. Dump truck is used for plowing, so obviously we're all plowing at the same time. This track trailer, where we're being a little bit different is instead of it being a separate standalone, it's now going to go on this swap loader feature, so there might be the opportunity, but quite honestly, I don't know how much, frankly, New Hope or Robbinsdale do in-house for their street
Because
maintenance.
this is, so if there's a pothole, you would come out and you would put this down to kind of
So this one would be for a larger.
sticky.
Exactly. So I think it was a glue, but it's actually used for our larger paving project.
Okay.
We mill off, you put the
Okay.
tack down, and then pave over it.
Well, I know, I'm sure you're on it. I just, you know, for the public's interest, I just want to make sure that we're cognizant of the fact that share stuff if we.
Yeah. So yes, you've actually approved 2 different agreements that allow us to do that. You approved the agreement with Robbinsdale, and there's also an equipment sharing loan agreement, or equipment sharing loan, agreement that you approved last year, I believe,
Right.
that allows for that.
Kind of gave a mechanism to make that happen. So I guess kind of to the same vein, you know, we always want to make sure we're replacing things as needed. We don't want to just replace them when the accountant says its useful life is done. We actually
Right.
want it to be substantial. And since then, you've came up with the VCI. And I guess what I would like to have you do is talk a little bit about what that is and what drives that number.
So-
Because you can come up with a range that says replace, but where did it come from? Did it come from use? Did it come from age? Did it come from, you know, help me out with that.
C, all the above. The first question is how critical is it? So for example, our police cars, I think, score 5 just because they're a police car, where 1 is the lowest. Then you have how often is it actually down for maintenance service? So that kind of reflects how much hurt is this thing taking on. Wear and tear, hours and mileage do play into it as well, I believe. But it's really trying to look at the whole cost. One of the things we rolled out last year was we actually have a software package now where you're trying to track our maintenance costs for vehicles and actually put that into an actual system to track it better, as well as fuel costs. We only have 1 year data, so it's not quite where it needs to be. But I think the system's working well, and the reason that is you approved, we had a sidewalk machine that died last year that was coming up for replacement this year, right? The dump truck that you approved in 2018, the one that it's replacing, we now only use for plowing because it is so questionable putting on the road for routine use. So we use it for plowing, and that's about it. So we're seeing that it's correctly measuring when things start to die off, especially our larger equipment.
Very cool. All right, anything else? Anybody? Nancy?
John, too, I just wanted to say how much I appreciate that the older items are going up for auction. So there's money coming back in.
We are doing quite well at
Yeah.
auction. And actually both the police department is selling stuff at auction quite well, and we are doing well.
Great.
John?
I'd like to approve all 6 items in one motion, if we could. Do I need to do a separate
I think we can do it in one.
You can do one.
Yep.
Okay. In that case, I'd like to make a motion to approve the replacement air compressor, the large area mower, the parks pickup truck, the roller, dump truck, and tack trailer.
All right, thank you. Looking for a second? Brendan?
I second the motion.
All right. All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. Motion carries.
Thank you.
So where does that take us? No way.
Counts.
Yes.
We must have announcements. All right. The City Council will have an EDA Economic Development Authority work session on Thursday, January 9th at 6:30 PM in the council chambers at City Hall. The CBA, or the Crystal Business Association, meets Wednesday, January 15th at 8:30 AM at Crystal City Hall. The Beyond the Yellow Ribbon Quad Communities and Crystal VFWs will be sponsoring a bowling fundraiser on Sunday, January 19th. That begins at 10:30 AM. It goes to roughly 1 o'clock, and that's at New Hope Bowl. City offices will be closed January 20th in observation of Martin Luther King Jr. holiday, and the next citizen input is January 21st at 6 p.m. Just kind of a reminder, during the year, those are always before the second council meeting of each month, and that's usually held in a conference room, off camera, off tape. If you don't necessarily want to come to the open forum here, that's in conference room A. Next city council meeting is Tuesday, January 21st at 7 p.m. here at the chambers at City Hall. And local organizations are invited to lead the Pledge of Allegiance at city council meetings. Please contact staff if you need more information on that. Crystal City Council meetings and work sessions are open to the public. Current and previous meetings are available for viewing and listening on our website, crystalmn.gov. I've got one additional announcement. I might need a little bit of help with it. We did a podcast, Nancy and I did a podcast relating to budget, what our budget process looked like. We kind of went over the history and then current and kind of what the future looks like. That's available online as well. There's also a shorter version that we did with CCX. I did with Dave Kaiser. We took that half hour and squished it down to about 7 minutes. So that's on the website as well. So pick your poison or do both. It's kind of it's a great conversation I think we had in terms if you want to geek out on this stuff, there's opportunity for that in the podcast. That's a half hour.
And future podcasts are coming up on different subjects, right?
Yeah. I think it's just another way where we can kind of commit to having a community dialogue, and you guys can actually get a sense of what we're thinking, what we're trying to sort out. So we'll have different staff people come in. We'll have different council members come in. Hopefully this will become a staple, and try to promote that if you could. Any other announcements? Julie?
You know, I don't even know how to tweet, so I don't even know what a podcast is.
Think of it as radio, recorded radio.
There you go.
But how do you get to it? Do you have your own station or what?
No, just
It's on the
recorded it.
website.
Here, we used our microphones from the work session. Just Mike recorded it.
So you go to the city council, or the city website, and somewhere on there that'll say podcast?
Yep.
And you click on it?
Yep, easy breezy.
Yep. We're going to try to make it so
New
I can
technology.
I'll send it out.
we're going to try to make it easy.
Please.
Yeah, I mean, some people, me, listen to podcasts all the time when I'm working construction or if I'm working on a painting project, and I go to my podcast and listen to whomever, and off we go. So we have that option in case you want to listen.
Well,
to
the
me and
Christmas
Nancy.
movie, Hallmark Christmas movies are over now, so I have time.
But what's really cool is Nancy has got some radio experience,
Right.
and she's got that radio voice.
Oh,
And
thank you.
Yeah. She really brought her professionalism to the
She
table.
used to be, you didn't used to be a DJ?
Yeah.
Yep, and a radio announcer.
Yeah.
Years and years ago.
But
Yeah.
that's kind of fun.
You guys are fun.
What's that?
You guys are fun.
Yeah. All right. Any other announcements, Nancy?
An announcement of gratitude perhaps for our city public works person who, and maybe Mark, you could speak to this because you were on Fox 9 and I think CCX Media. A shout out to someone who deserves praise but wishes to remain anonymous still, I believe.
So this is a photo of our Wednesday, and I need to give a big shout out to Deputy Chief Brian Hubbard for his assistance in managing the chaos that was that morning. So we were plowing. I was actually in with the guys, and a little right for 3:40, radio of, hey, there's a house on fire. Somebody called 911. So our plow guy was actually going by this house. He saw something that didn't look right. He stopped, he looked, and about that time the window blew out. Flames went up the side of the home. He radioed for help, and he approached the front door to notify the homeowners or whoever might have been in the house. As he got to the front door, the homeowner, the single resident, came out of the home and was brought away from the fire and kept in a warm place. And then everybody showed up, and it was quite the party. But again, I think it's just a testament to the partnership we have between police, fire, and public works here that, he with one radio call started the ball to us to work with our partners, mutual aid, bringing in assistance, and get the job done with no damage to the neighboring properties. And that's what it's all about.
Yeah.
Good job.
Amazing. And I know he's very humble and wants to remain anonymous, but I just want to give a...
He will not be anonymous
shout
for
out.
long, don't worry.
Oh, good.
All right. Well done. Good manager. Well, thank you also to Brooklyn Center. Was it Golden Valley as well?
Golden Valley and Brooklyn Park.
Brooklyn Park, and then West Metro Fire for their response. All right. Any other announcements? Looking for that motion. John?
So moved.
Nancy?
I'll second.
All members in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, say nay. All right. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Okay, now the EDA.
EDA.